right, good evening.
This conference will now be recorded.
This open meeting of the Town of Auburn Board of Health is being operated as a hybrid format under Chapter 107 of the Acts of 2022. The public can join the meeting remotely or by telephone, number 224-501-3412, and access code 236-529-341, where the public can join via computer by the link supplied on the town's website. All supporting materials that have been provided to members in the body are available on the town's website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. As a preliminary matter, my name is Eric Otteson, Chairman of the Board of Health. Permit me to inform that members and all members present are that are anticipated on the agenda and participated remotely are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Lindsay Guitar.
Here.
And Carolyn Griffin.
Here.
And town officials and employees participating, when I call your name, please respond as well. Jordan Brousseau.
Here.
Darlene Coyle.
Here.
Amy Contois.
Here.
Colleen Hines.
Here.
Thank you. Sorry. Please note that this meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television. If there are any applicants remotely, please say your name and address. Is there one?
Sean Durson, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Excellent. And we need your address as well.
I'm at 24 Barbara Ave in Auburn.
Great. Thank you very much.
We also have a sign-in sheet. We'll have everybody sign in.
Okay, excellent. Yep, I'll open the meeting and then we'll have them sign in as well. All right. I would make a motion to open the meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to open the meeting.
Is there a second?
I second.
And all those signify by saying aye by roll call vote. Lindsay Guitar.
Aye.
Carolyn Griffin.
Aye.
Eric Otteson, aye. The meeting is now open. So reviewing the agenda, I don't believe there's anything we need to add or remove.
We're going to take the minutes out, sir.
We are going to take the minutes out. All right, so we'll delete the minutes from 4:22. And there is, on the agenda at 6 o'clock, we do have a dog hearing. And given a conflict, which I have to recuse myself from the hearing.
Okay.
And I will step out.
Okay.
All right?
We'll make a note that the chair is leaving the room.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So, yeah. I'd like to, is there a motion to open the hearing?
I'd like to make a motion to open the hearing for 10 Westchester Drive, Auburn, Mass.
Okay, so I will accept the motion to now open the hearing for 10 Westchester Drive, Auburn, Mass. All those in favor signify aye. Lindsay Guitar.
Aye.
Carolyn Griffin, aye. Motion to open. Okay. So the purpose of this hearing is for the board to hear the evidence concerning Watson, owned by Amy Adkosius, I hope I didn't do that, okay, at 10 Westchester Drive in Auburn, for a requested nuisance dangerous dog hearing, and to make a determination as to what action to take, if any, regarding the dogs involved. The procedure is that the board will hear from representatives of the town that have been involved in investigating this matter, and the board will also hear from residents of the town and any other witnesses involved, if any. The board will then give the dog owner the opportunity to speak, and if he or she chooses. The board will then continue or close the hearing and make a decision as to what should be done in this case, and will issue an order accordingly. So at this time, we'll take testimony, and the first testimony will be from the town's witness, which I need to have you place under oath. So if you could raise your right hand. And I guess we might as well do the whole town then here. And do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and know nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Okay, then this is Amy Contois, our dog officer, so noted for the record.
Hi, thank
Hi.
you. So I am going to pass around a packet for the board
Okay.
with the town's information regarding the incident, if you want to take one and pass it along. So we are here tonight regarding a request we received from a resident, Molly Lab of 7 Coolidge Street. We received the request on April 10th, requesting a dangerous hearing for a Doberman residing at 10 Westchester Drive in Auburn due to an incident that happened on April 9th, 2024, where the victim suffered multiple dog bites. So on April 9th, the town was notified of an incident that occurred on Westchester Drive when the Doberman owned at 10 Westchester Drive was able to get loose from its property and resulted in 2 bites to a jogger on the road. So during the incident, through the investigation, we found out that the dog was able to escape the home because of a young child in the home left 2 doors open. The dog got out. The witnesses to the incident will provide their testimony and their statements as to what happened specifically regarding the incident. The bite victim did go to an urgent care ready med facility to get the wounds looked at and seek any treatment needed. Included in the packet, you have the town's bite report, 2 pictures of the bites that the victim received on the lower buttocks area, on both the right and the left leg. It also includes a copy of Watson's 2024 dog license, his up-to-date rabies certificate, notice of a violation, so the owners were issued a citation for an off-leash dog. That citation has been paid. And also in the packet is a witness statement from the bite victim, and then a statement provided by both owners of Watson. Those are the last 2 documents in the packet. So both the victim and the dog owners are present today. So if you want to take a moment to read the statements, but I believe they'll also be going over the statements in their testimony. And additionally, we were provided some documents by the owners of Watson that I will pass out when it's the owner's chance to speak. I'm happy to answer any questions that the board may have, or if you'd like, we could move on to accepting testimony from the complainants.
You just have to swear everybody in.
Okay.
So anybody that's going to give testimony within the room, you can have everybody.
Like as a group, I'll ask.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is, I do want to just make note, Carolyn, there is somebody that is on remotely. So in order for them to give testimony, they would have to put on their video. They did respond earlier, so we can do that one separately.
Okay. So if there's anybody in the room here who plans on giving testimony, if they could please raise their right hand and repeat after me. I'll be asking you, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, thank you. And for the person who's on video, on remotely, if you plan to testify, you would need to turn on your camera so I could see you raise your right hand and respond to the oath. What was the person's last name?
They just left.
Left.
They've left the meeting.
Perhaps they don't intend to join. If they do, I'll let them know that they can join. Okay.
And Carolyn, we do have these two seats here.
Okay.
So when people are ready, whoever wants to go first can come up. They just have to speak into the microphones.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we do have a sign-in sheet as well. So right here at the front of this table, we have a sign-in sheet. If you plan on giving testimony, if we could just have you sign in. Amy, is there any preference on what the order is?
Typically, the complainant goes first.
Okay. Hi.
Before they start.
And if you could identify your name and your address, please, for the record, thank you.
Sure. My name is Molly Lab, and I live at 7 Coolidge Street in Auburn.
Thank you, Molly.
Am I just supposed to give my account of the incident?
Yep, so your account of the incident, anything that you want to provide supporting your request for the hearing.
Okay. So like it was stated on April 9th, around 4 o'clock, I went out for a run. I proceeded right out of my house and right out of, we're new to town, so I don't know all street names yet, but right out of my street, and was running down that street and then turned left onto Westchester. I was running on the left side of the road on the sidewalk. And the first thing I noticed was a child run out from the backyard of 10 Westchester Drive. That caught my attention. I wasn't running with any earbuds in. I was running with my phone and playing music on my phone. I noticed the child run out from behind the house, and so my attention was to that house, and then I quickly after that noticed the dog running quickly from behind the house, and thought to myself that it seemed like something wasn't right, because just the way the dog was running, I could tell that it maybe wasn't supposed to be out. The dog proceeded across the lawn and then turned towards me and was running right at me. And I quickly realized that it wasn't going to stop, so I put my hands up and turned, and that's when the dog bit me on the right side first. And I was very shocked and distressed, so I think I was calling out. I did then notice what I thought was the owner of Westchester Drive coming out of the house, a woman, and she told me to get behind her because the dog continued to circle me as I was on the sidewalk. So I was shielding myself with the owner as the dog continued to go around me, and each time I moved, it continued to try to get at me. And one other time, it did get through. I must have moved and it got the left side of me. And then I don't remember if, at some point, the husband came out of the house and the wife directed him to stay with me so that she could try to get the dog. The dog was still trying to get to me. I had to use the husband. I remember grabbing him and trying to put him in front of me. And finally, the woman directed the daughter to try to go and get the leash so that they could get the dog on the leash. And they were able to, after a number of minutes, get the dog on the leash and bring the dog inside. And then the owner drove me home. I got her information and went to Ready Med to be treated. Obviously, this is really still impacting me. I haven't been out for a walk in my own neighborhood since the incident. I haven't been out with my children, who I frequently walk on that street with. We trick-or-treated on that street. And I just want to be able to feel safe in my own neighborhood. And yeah, that's really just my goal. I want to be able to live my life in my neighborhood again and not have to feel scared to go outside. So that's, if anyone has any questions.
I just want to be clear from your account then, Molly. So the dog actually came out and at least bit you the first time before anybody even came there? Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I didn't, as far as my injuries, I didn't need any stitches, thankfully. I had a lot of pain. It was a very difficult recovery. And I'm still experiencing some pain in one of the injuries, but I didn't require any stitches, but there was really significant bruising and deep puncture wounds, so.
Did they put you on some antibiotics?
I was prescribed antibiotics. Yes, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Molly.
Through the chair, if there's any follow-up questions, we can always invite the parties back up if discovers that they have questions.
Would somebody else, is there somebody else that would like to speak?
Chair, if we just want to identify, we can move on to the owner's portion.
Yes.
So the owners and any witnesses that they have.
Yeah, would the owners, somebody from the owners like to speak? Yeah. And just, that's right, thank you. Sign in, please, and then before you speak, if you'd kindly state your name and address. Thank you.
And for the owner's portion, I do have documents that they had sent in
Okay.
to the town for this hearing. So if you want to
Thank
take
you.
one and pass it. and included in that document, the owner sent some pictures of the dog Watson. Unfortunately, it is black and white, so it might be hard to see him in there. I do have one colored copy that we can pass around if you wanted to take a look at the colored. They sent in a letter from their regular veterinarian. It does also include a translation because it's from a veterinarian out of the country. Also, a contract with a fencing company, 2 behavior evaluations, and a statement from Watson's regular nail technician.
I have this as well. Sorry, can I talk?
Oh, just, yes, if you could, yes, please state your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
It's Amy Atkosius at 10 Westchester Drive.
Thank you.
Ken Arts at 10 Westchester Drive.
Thank you.
I also have this. It's the book from the breeder, but I didn't have her make a copy because I've only got the one.
If you could you just have to speak into the microphone.
Well, I have the book from the breeder. Before I start, can I ask a question? Because you said at the beginning of the meeting that all of these materials would be made public, and there's a lot of my family photos in there, and I really don't want them to be made public.
I will just add, I did block out the face of your child in all of the pictures that I
Thank you.
saw.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Contrast.
Yeah, I don't really know where to start. I mean, I think I'll give my statement. I think you probably read it, but if it's okay, maybe I go through the supporting evidence first to give a bit of context. This one I can pass around. This is our dog, Watson. We moved here from Europe. We were living there for about 20 years. We moved over. Watson moved in August. He moved in December. I'm pretty conscious to the fact that this is on YouTube, and I don't want to give away too many private details about myself. I didn't really have a choice whether to be here, so I'll try not to say too much, and I'll try to respect that, please. Sorry I'm babbling, this is really hard. Okay.
Sorry.
No, well, yeah. So if you look at his book, basically the page that I opened to, it shows you his lineage. We got him from a breeder in Germany. We lived in Belgium, not so far over the border. You see there's, England, there's France, there's Germany. If you look through there, his mother was a show dog. My point in showing you that is that he's not a protection dog. We didn't get him to scare people. We didn't get him to protect us. He is 100% our family dog. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the pictures. I've watched a lot of dog hearings, dangerous dog hearings, trying to prepare for this because it's not something that happens very often. I think you guys, your board has had 4 in recent memory. They were not things that I would want to watch again. I went and I found from surrounding towns, what is a dangerous dog hearing? I didn't know what this was, what was this going to be? And I mean, they are the things that people do to those dogs, it wouldn't even occur to me to have a dog that's going to rush the gate and go out onto the street. And, I think that you can see from the pictures, at least, that I've been really fanatical about taking care of my dog, socializing my dog. I brought some videos. You'll see in the pictures that there's stills from the videos. Is it possible to show them? I don't know how. I was told that it was, because in the videos, what you really see and hear is the ambient noise and what he's able to withstand as a socialized dog.
Yeah, we would take him to lots of different occasions, in crowds with loud noises. He would never respond in any reactive way or showing any
May I approach? May I
aggressiveness
show you
or-
a few?
So my only concern is the video would not be able to go out online.
Yeah.
If the board wants to look at it, it's not going to be played for the public.
I mean, honestly, I don't really want my home movies
Yeah.
shown to the public,
Yeah.
but I think that these are important to show you.
Yeah.
through the chair, if they want to provide their statement of
Yeah.
of their account of what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I do, you know, I mean, just looking at these pictures, you know, I believe what you're telling me about, you know, the type of environment and everything that, the type of environment that Watson's able to be around and everything. I think it's clear, you know, that,
We went to two
That's something.
behaviorists. I will tell you that I had a very hard time finding a behaviorist who would even talk to me, because I called, I think, 10. I think I got in touch with 8. For some, I kept getting bounced around, and I later saw some of these same people in these dangerous dog hearings, and I completely understand, because I wouldn't want to get anywhere near it. And the trainer that, it was a behaviorist that I finally found, you know, I convinced her, and then it was Sunday, she called me and she wanted to cancel, because she said that what I'm saying doesn't make sense. We have a dangerous dog report, and you're telling me that your dog is socialized, that your dog, you know, that there's no problem, you know, something is not right, you know. My fantastic husband convinced her to not cancel on us. We had to do a survey, we went back, we changed a few answers to the survey to make it more believable, so that she would see us. It was really, you know, we had to get a muzzle beforehand, so that she wouldn't come into the house without a muzzle. I've seen these dangerous dog hearings, she's completely right.
Totally understand this, yeah.
And then if you'll see, that's one of the trainer reports. That's the one where we went to Home Depot. Because when you're training dogs, you sort of get them to a level where they're comfortable, and then you push it one step further until they're not comfortable, and then you say, that's what I need to work on. So she came to our house, he was fine. We were talking, I was very upset. I mean, I talked to her for a half an hour, and our dog just went and laid on the couch. And she, you know, when she was gonna leave, I asked her about the muzzle, and she said, you know, I don't, why, you know? I mean, don't, you know, who knows? We went around the neighborhood, you'll see pictures from that. We passed dogs, joggers, everything. He was completely non-reactive. She upped the ante, and we went to the Home Depot in Worcester, so not even the one here in Auburn. There's like small aisles, there's big crates of wood, there's people banging things, mobility scooters, you name it. And, I mean, you see the pictures from the report. I asked her at that point, you know, how could I have prevented this? And, I mean, I'll go into that later. That's in my, I think maybe you've read it. And what can I do in the future? And her tip was basically guide dog training. Put on monkey masks, get around the dog and scream and do every single crazy thing that we could do to like throw him off balance and, you know, push it to the next level. Because, I mean, I wish maybe I can show you the videos at some point. You can see the type of level of socialization that he's at. My dog can't testify. There were 2 people on the street, me and Mrs. Lab. My daughter, for some of it, I asked to have her. I didn't want her to come and give testimony here. And if you read my statement, I think you can understand why. And then my neighbor came out for some of it as well. I know that Ms. Contois spoke with her. But it was me, Mrs. Lab, and the dog can't testify. So I hope that I actually got 2 behavioral assessments through both of them, that he can testify that way. Because, I mean, there's no way that anybody can fake this.
So what we're saying is, of course, we're extremely sorry and devastated that it happened. We try to understand why, because we haven't seen this dog like this in any way, shape, or form. So that's...
The behaviorist, I mean, it was a tip from Mrs. Contois. She gave me the list, and it really, I mean, she did help me, because, I mean, I was... you know, it helped me to understand what the dog was thinking. You know, I think I've trained dogs for 20 years. I already had my ideas, but then just to have, like, you know, a second opinion, that really helped. If you read the reports, you see from both trainers, 0 aggressivity, 0 reactivity, nothing like that.
We talk through what happened now.
Yeah.
Unless you guys have questions or things that you
Yeah,
want to ask.
sorry, do you have any questions?
Just, has the dog, you've had the dog since August, you said?
No, we had him
Dog
since he was a
8
puppy.
weeks.
Oh, since he
8
was a
weeks
puppy,
He
old.
moved
okay.
here in August.
Okay.
Or he moved here in
Oh,
August.
he moved here in August, okay.
Taking a dog on a transatlantic flight is a bit of a
Yeah,
taking.
gotcha. Has he ever gotten out before?
I don't think so. I mean, at our old house, when he was a puppy, I
Yeah,
remember one time
yeah.
he ran down the street.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he's not like, he
Yeah.
knows not to rush the doors. It was like a fluke with
Yeah.
a different
Yeah.
door and my daughter, and I mean, you see it, it was.
Our old house also, our yard was completely enclosed. Yeah, anyway, he made his way
Anyway,
out.
Our yard will soon be completely
Yes.
enclosed. I mean, I think you see in the paperwork as well, the contract for the fence.
Signed.
Just have to wait, you know, for the ground to dry out a bit.
So if you can just clarify, are you, is your yard fenced now?
Not at the moment.
Okay,
We
but
have
it
the
will be?
contract, Yes.
Okay.
Signed contract for the fence, and I mean, as soon as he can get it in, it's
Okay. So the fence will be in addition to your yard
Yeah.
to contain the dog?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, I mean, to contain the dog, we don't plan on like leaving him running around in the yard. I mean, for us, it's more to sort of, like, in case that ever happens again, then he would hit a fenced-in area. And I mean, of course, we can play fetch with him, but I mean, I don't believe in like a yard dog, if that makes sense.
Yes,
Not going to be
yeah,
alone in the yard.
He's a woods dog. We go for like hikes and stuff and
yeah,
jogs
Yeah.
with my husband.
yeah.
Any other questions? Sorry, Ms. Conjoy, did you print out the pictures from the dog trainer as well? Because they were in the email.
Yep, all the documents that you provided are included.
Just looking through the trainer account.
Through the chair. And just to clarify, it sounds like you've had two separate assessments by animal behaviorists. Have either one of them instructed you to do anything further than what you've identified?
But one of them told us, and actually this idea, I mean, maybe I can talk to you about also, I mean, maybe it's a bit beside the point, but she wanted us to put locks on the top of our doors, but I honestly, I think that's a bit of a fire hazard if, you know, I've got, so that your daughter can't accidentally open the door, but I'm thinking, what if she needs to open the door, so that we're a bit, you know,
We'll listen to
yeah.
your guidance.
I have follow-up sessions with one of them because actually, I mean, like, that was the one that almost canceled on me, but we, you know, we clicked really well and she can help us a bit more. I mean, with ideas for desensitization to stop anything like this in the future. That was my plan.
Thank you.
In all the dangerous dog hearings I've watched, I have to say I've never seen a behavioral evaluation done. I think there was one that you guys had, and they read a behavior evaluation, but that was, I think it was already on an appeal, and the evaluation was the dog is reactive, and I think that was it. I watched from basically all of the surrounding towns, and I didn't, there's a lot of firsts here, to be honest.
to speak into the microphone.
Oh, sorry. For the record.
Testimony. Yes. I think if we just complete, if anybody else has anybody, if there's any other testimony to be,
Do you want to hear my account of the event? Because, I mean, recollections vary.
I mean, I feel like you gave a very thorough account of the event.
In my written
in your-
statement?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
What about you, Lindsay?
I agree.
Do
Okay.
you have any questions about my written statement? I'm happy to clarify anything.
through the chair, if you want to hear her account, that's up to you.
Yeah.
And that will give you a chance to hear both sides.
Yeah, I mean, why don't you go ahead and tell me, because you're right, you did give a very thorough account, but go ahead and tell me, you know.
It's different to read it and hear it, too.
Yeah, I agree, you're right.
So I was outside, I was playing with my daughter, and she went inside the front door to get something. I really don't remember what. She said, I'm going to go get something. And then maybe, I don't know, a minute later, on my front lawn, I was sort of waiting for her to come back, and I saw my dog run by me. He sort of looked at me and gave me a, like, scampy, chase me look, you know? And I don't know if you know anything about dogs, but if it's loose, you don't chase, because then, like, that is the game, and you're never going to catch him. You know, you need to make the dog chase you. So I saw him go past me and into the backyard, and I sort of, you know, came up with a plan. And my plan was, you know, I don't want to go into the backyard, because then if he comes in front, then, you know, what if there's a car? What if there's anything? I'd rather catch him in the front yard. I looked around and didn't see any cars. I saw a runner down the street, and I yelled to her. I really tried to, like, get the right tone, where it's like, you know, hey, my dog's out, you know, like, don't worry, but, you know, watch out. And then I went inside. Like, I dipped inside, I yelled to my husband, I went straight back outside. And, like, I went through this, you know, I lived there, I've been living this over and over in my head, trust me. And, you know, when I look out the door, it's sort of like the first thing that I saw where I was facing was the runner. So, I mean, then I thought, you know, not going according to plan, I sort of run into the street, and I say from that distance, a bit quieter, hey, my dog's out, please stop, you know. And then she gets closer, because I realized she had her music on, and she couldn't hear me. She goes, what? You know, and it's like that moment, you know, what? And I remember then I thought to myself, you know, and I had a choice. I could answer her, or I could turn and do what I meant to do, and I made the wrong one. You know, I answered her, I said, you know, it's like, dog out, you know, have to catch, you know, I tried to keep it light, you know, don't be alarmed, like, it's just my dog's out, I gotta catch him. And I think she only heard dog, to be honest, because it was like dog, and then yelling, jumping. And at that point, I was, you know, and it wasn't that much longer, I mean, because I remember sort of yelling and jumping, and then she looked. I think she, like, they caught eyes as he was coming up, and then she like really let out a scream. I mean, and my dog has never heard anything like that. We've done so much to socialize him, but he couldn't handle it, honestly, you know, like a super scream, and then, like, really, like, jumping and stuff, and he ran to her. He didn't run to me. You know, I started calling him, you know, Watson, Watson, but he ran to her. And I just sort of, like, you know, watched it. And I was trying to call him, you know, Watson, here, and he was barking very close to her. I didn't see him bite her. I mean, I was, like, my eyes did not leave Mrs. Lab, and I did not see him bite her. I'm not saying that he didn't. I'm not trying to anything. He was jumping. I mean, he was barking, and it was close. And, I mean, I'm sure that she had something, but if we're talking like a bite with like a puncture, like, not possible.
Well, do you have an idea of the seriousness of the bite?
I'm not trying to say that it wasn't like, a scratch. I'm sure she had something, but like when we think like the word puncture, there is a bite scale for all of these things. This is another thing that I unfortunately learned, and that's like a bit further on the bite scale, I believe, than we were. But anyway, where was I? Okay, so he's like barking super, super close to her. And, I call him off, and then I tell her, Watson, here, Watson, no. And then I say, it's okay, you won't hurt, which is, we won't bite. I forget exactly what it was, which is a pretty stupid thing to say because this woman was really scared. And then she calmed down a bit, and my dog started to calm down. And like, I thought at that point that it was over. And I'm pretty sure that that's when I was yelling to my daughter, get the leash, because I really thought, okay, this is done, But then she started like screaming and yelling, saying, I think he bit me, I think he bit me, and like sort of jumping again. And I she's here, the dog's there, and I saw it. I saw him start to bark again, like he was doing before. And at that moment, I went straight. I went between her and him, and I was like, he won't hurt you. I said he won't hurt you, but then I realized that doesn't assure anybody, So I kept saying, I won't let him hurt you. I won't let him hurt you. Because I thought, you can't, if somebody's afraid of dogs, they're never going to believe that dog isn't going to hurt them. So believe in the person is what I was thinking. And it sort of worked, after a little bit, she's, okay, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? So, okay, just be calm. It's okay. She's, okay, calm. And then it sort of, at this point, I do admit, he was sort of barking in a circle around us. He was like keeping a perimeter, and he was the big scary thing, because like the noise and the what's it, and then he's just sort of acting like a dog. And I wasn't calling him off. I think I was saying no, like just like a firm no. But my hands were like this. And one of the trainers, she pointed out to me that I don't want to do a side, but I mean there's recall. I do recall with him when we go on long leash walks, and I call his name and he comes to me. But when we do off leash, then it's further away. I haven't done this in a long time. There's not many opportunities here. We did this more in Europe. They would have the big open-air dog parks. Then I would clap. And, I wasn't clapping. It didn't, go in my head. My arms were like this. And anyway, at that point, I really thought the dog will sort itself out later. People over dogs, calm down. And it was true. Once she was calmer, this was about when my husband came out. I think when my neighbor came out, maybe a bit before that. I'm not exactly sure when she came out.
Yeah, but I can... tell the next part if you want.
Yeah.
So that's how I found them. My wife is in front of Miss Lab, sort of in the middle of the road. I think that Miss Lab was sort of just on or off the sidewalk, and the dog was doing these 10, 15 feet circles around them. At that point, we agreed, let me stay with Mrs. Lab, and you focused on the dog. She was clearly very upset. I asked her if she was okay. She said, I don't know. So I saw that she was, very upset about the whole situation. And at that point, then he did another loop around us. He saw that I was there as well, and he seemed to calm down. And then at some point, he went into a dance sit in the street, and then Amy was able to grab him, and then, as I saw it, Miss Lab was very upset. I wanted to remove the dog from the situation because the dog's presence that was upsetting her. So I took the dog by the collar.
I think I said to you, get the dog out.
I don't remember, honestly. I know that I grabbed the dog by his collar and took him inside and put him in his crate, just to remove him from the situation. And then
if I can, I think also at this point, by the time my husband came out here, we had, there was me, and then my daughter was on the sidewalk. There was my neighbor across the street, and they were all like, Watson. It wasn't really helping things. Everybody they think that they're helping, but And then so when my husband came out, it was like the dog sort of, like, he saw that, like, okay, and like I was able to go over to him, and I mean, he didn't even, he just like went immediately, like, down sit, like, now he's,
Yeah.
it was really, yeah. I mean, I'm really, really sorry for what he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my husband, yeah, took the dog inside, and then Miss Lab was upset. I mean, I drove her home. Yeah, I mean, in the car, she called her husband, and really, I mean, he probably asked if she was okay. I don't remember, but it was really the first question is, what kind of dog is it? And I said, like, that's a Doberman, and I heard it, and it's, you know, okay. I guess that means something different here, and I get it, you know, in Europe, we're not allowed to do I wouldn't want to, but there's no, like, you know, the pointy, like Magnum PI Dobermans, if that makes
We
sense.
picked the runt of the, you know, we picked the least dominant, you know, I mean,
Yeah, like, we picked the nicest puppy, and it's a different, like, subset of the breed, and we don't, you see him, I mean, he doesn't necessarily
than a
look
lab.
like your Doberman, but I get it, any dog is scary when they're running at you, I mean, and that's definitely what I didn't want. Yeah, and then the next day, well, I mean, I don't want to get too into it, but, you know, I know that that the witness was contacted. She told me that, you know, I have to watch out. And then, but it doesn't negate our responsibility, you know? So we sort of thought about it, and we thought that we're going to go there, and we're going to all, like, the three of us, me, my husband, my daughter, like, say, you know, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for this. And, you know, if the dog could say sorry,
yeah,
you know,
offered to
we
pay
can't.
for any medical.
You know, we had that family meeting because my daughter felt horrible, you know, about the door. So it's not her fault. It's not, you know, we all have a part in it. So I knew where she lived because I dropped her off, so we went to go see her. And yeah, I think you read that in my statement. Yeah, and I guess, I don't know, this is not a position that I ever would have expected myself in. I'm terribly sorry for what my dog did.
Yeah, we're very, very sorry. We'll take your guidance and any steps that we can take.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, in a situation like that, there's a lot of dogs that would maybe not necessarily respond to recall right away, especially off-leash and faced with something. Could I maybe show the videos to somebody, just so you can get an idea of sort of the ambient noise? I mean, you have the Home Depot pictures. I mean, he can really deal with a lot, and we really, like, systematically,
Done it.
but, I mean, it was just like,
Excuse me.
all the events came together, you know, and I talked about it with the dog trainers a lot, and they told me that I should have ignored the jogger, that I should have focused on my dog. I mean, I guess I had it in my head that, like, you know, I see something and I should warn somebody, but I mean, just, I've played it over 1,000,000 times, and they've sort of told me that if I hadn't done that, like if I hadn't been there, like talking to her and, like, you know, the back and forth, and the dog saw it, you know, that he wouldn't have, I mean, maybe he still would have ran and barked with like a reaction, but it wouldn't have probably landed me here today. Do you have any questions?
Thank you for sharing that with us now. Do you have any?
I don't, not at the moment, no.
Lindsay?
Is it possible to, I mean, at least, I mean, the one with the school bus, I mean, you can see, I mean, there's sort of, there are videos where, like, you don't even know he's there until the end, you know, we're just sort of going about our normal life and, like, you know, all these things, and he's just there on the leash. I mean,
I'm not 100% sure of the rules. I don't want to,
Sure.
I mean, the only thing that I would say is if the board is looking at videos. It's just not available for the public.
And it's supposed to be an
It's
open
really-
meeting. And
So,
Yeah,
mean,
I have to
you
say,
have the-
I mean, once again, that aspect of this is very, very difficult for
Yeah.
me. And the fact that me here is going to be living on YouTube forever. Sorry. I just,
Through the chair. So you have the account from both the victim and from the dog owner. So if you feel like you have enough information.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
You just can't have anybody speaking from the crowd, so.
Yeah, you can, but you have to approach the microphone.
So we just have
And
to-
are you all done? I'm sorry, are you all set?
I think so. Unless you
That-
have any questions.
No, I think you provided excellent information. Thank you, excellent information. Just go ahead and just provide your name again. Sure.
Molly Lab, 7 Coolidge Street. I just wanted to be able to respond to some of the testimony that was provided that I feel is inaccurate and not an account of the events. It was portrayed to seem like the owners tried to give me warning. Their testimony made me feel like somehow this is my fault, that I was running on the road. I did not tease that dog. I did not taunt that dog. I was not trespassing. That was an unprovoked attack. And to suggest that my injuries were merely a scratch, I have plenty of photos I can submit to the board. They were not a scratch. I could not sit down. I had to leave work multiple days. I'm a teacher. I'm on my feet. I'm working with children. And I was in a lot of pain. I feel as though the testimony tried to downplay my account of the incident and make it seem like there was more of an attempt to protect me from the dog, or there were many things that were testified to that were, quite frankly, I feel inaccurate in painting the owners of the dog in a better light. The female owner had her back to me the entire time. And I just feel as though, being the person who suffered the injuries in this incident, and someone who walks that neighborhood with my own 2 children, who are 4 and 2, I can't imagine what would have happened if my kids were with me. To suggest that I was somehow tried to be warned that this dog was out is quite frankly completely false. It happened so fast, I didn't have time to react. My husband said to me, do you remember anything around you that you could have gotten to protect yourself? I said it happened so fast, I had no opportunity to think. And there were no neighbors that were yelling to the dog. I saw a neighbor on the porch who we contacted after, who also shared that the dog has gotten out before. It has not bitten anyone before, but it has gotten out in the neighborhood, and the neighbor has witnessed that. Like I said, I feel as though it is important, your job is to protect and make sure that the people of the town feel safe in their neighborhood, and everyone has that right to feel safe in their community. And we have had neighbors of ours ask us if the dog is out of quarantine that are taking different walking routes because they know that the dog is out of quarantine and allowed to be out. I also want to state that my children did not know that I was bit by a dog. I did not want them to because I don't want them to be afraid of dogs. I never wanted to create that sense of fear in them. And the owners did come to our house, and as a result, my children had to find out that I was bit by a dog. And that is something that they took from me as a mother. And my son was extremely distraught about it and is still very afraid of dogs. And Mama, is that dog gonna bite me like the one that bit you? And that's something that I didn't want to happen. And this was something that I didn't ask for, I didn't provoke. I was listening to music softly because I have heard many stories about women jogging with headphones in and being attacked other ways. And I am trying to be as safe as possible. And to suggest that anything that I was doing somehow made it, wrong place, wrong time sort of suggestion is offensive to me, and I'm offended by that comment, and I felt like I needed to respond to some of the things that were shared with you because I don't feel that they are accurate. So that's what I have to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Through the chair. So if there is any more testimony, you can see if there's any other testimony to be provided, and then you would close the hearing, and you can ask any questions of the animal control officer or a recommendation.
All right. So unless there's any more testimony to be offered at this point, I will close the testimony portion of the hearing.
Just want to get a motion from Lindsay.
I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing.
I accept the motion to close the hearing. All of those in favor, the testimony portion of the hearing, all those in favor?
Second. Carolyn?
I second.
Then we'll just do a roll call vote. We just need a roll call vote for that. Just a roll call
Oh,
vote.
yes. Lindsay Guitar, you respond?
Aye.
Carolyn Griffin, aye. Okay. Okay. Take a moment to deliberate. So, Ms. Amy, in your experience here, what are some of the thoughts or recommendations that you've come across in the past experience?
Sure, so I did prepare a recommendation for the board.
Okay.
If you have any questions specific to the testimony that we heard or anything regarding that, I'm happy to answer questions before I give my recommendation.
I don't know if this question is more after you give your recommendation, but does the fencing come in line with the enclosure that's usually requested?
So there's, the board has placed in orders different variations of fencing on different circumstances, sometimes fencing around the property, sometimes a kennel, a four-sided kennel in the property, in the yard, if the entirety of the yard can't be fenced in. I do believe from my conversations with the dog owners, it will be a full fence around the property. I believe they got a quote for a 6-foot fence on the front and the sides and a 5-foot. So the 6-foot is a vinyl fencing with a 5-foot chain link fence in the back.
Okay. All right. So I look forward to hearing your recommendations.
So in recognition of the remedial actions that are being made by the owners, including but not limited to the installation of the fencing on the property, obtaining behavioral evaluations and training services, it would be my recommendation that the dog identified as Watson be deemed as a nuisance dog for the term of 1 year from the date of determination pending no violations during that time frame of the following order: that Watson shall be restrained by leash or lead at all times while off property unless actively engaged in a professional training setting where tethering may inhibit training, exercises, and/or activities under the guidance of an animal professional. Number 2, that until such time fencing is installed, Watson shall be restrained by leash, lead, or tether while on property in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 140, Section 174E, regarding tethering and confinement restrictions. And 3, that the owner shall provide proof of continued training services with a CCPDT trainer, so that's the Certification Council for Professional Dog Trainers, a certified behaviorist or veterinary behaviorist, and that the owner shall provide proof of obtained services to animal control, and that any violations of the order may cause a further examination of the matter in terms of the order by the hearing authority.
I would like to accept a motion to,
I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommendations that were provided by Amy Contois regarding Watson.
I second the motion that Watson is deemed a nuisance dog and the recommendations by Amy Contois. All those in favor, state your name and your agreement. Roll call vote. Lindsay Guitar,
Aye.
Carolyn Griffin, aye.
Through the chair, just for clarification, the determination of a nuisance dog, does the board support a time limit on that for 1 year unless there's further violations?
Thank you. Yes, the term for a year unless there are further violations. Thank you for pointing that out, Amy. Yes.
So through the chair, just to be clear, the recommendation from Animal Control Officer to be entered into the record.
So the term is for Watson, adult male nuisance dog for term of 1 year unless there is a violation, with the recommendations by Dog Officer Amy Contois. Roll call vote. Lindsay Guitar,
Aye.
Carolyn Griffin, aye.
And then just need a motion to close the hearing.
Now, entertain a motion to close the hearing.
I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing.
I second the motion. Roll call. Lindsay Guitar,
Aye.
Carolyn Griffin, aye.
And Ms. Contois, through the chair? Yes. Ms. Contois, the decision will be sent out?
Yes.
So the decision will be sent out from our office to the parties involved. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Through the chair, I'll just take a moment to get to the agenda.
Looks like we had some tobacco violations, I noticed in our
Yes.
agenda.
Thank you very much. So I wanted to bring to the board's attention that we have, so as you may recall, we are part of a tobacco collaborative, and what that allows us is tobacco inspectors, inspectors that are trained specifically for tobacco control and enforcing the state and local laws. We have had some routine tobacco inspections that have resulted in several violations. So I wanted to bring to the board's attention, we've had a total of 4 violations, 2 by the same retail store. Of the 4 violations, 2 of them have been paid and 2 have not. So they are pretty thick. The first 2, I'll hand to you for review. The first 2, those violations have been paid. So it's a total of 3 stores that all have tobacco permits from us. The violations are provided to us from the inspector that has done the tobacco compliance inspection. So these are not, this is not a tobacco hearing, but I wanted to let the board know that, you know, this is disappointing, that there are violations that are happening. And as I stated, we have 2 of the retail establishments that have been responsive. They have paid the fines, and education has been given to all 3. So you may, we may follow up on the 3rd that has not paid the violations as of yet, but we are going to continue to work with our tobacco inspectors to be able to provide education and enforcement on all the retail stores. This is also the time of year in June when we renew our tobacco licenses. So we will, again, provide reminders and education. The tobacco inspectors, I can tell you, Jordan and I have been in very good contact with them, and the amount of time that they spend with the retailers to provide education, provide signage, and really follow up on anything that's needed for these establishments is something that is very responsible. So we'll work with the establishments, and we'll continue to provide updates to the board regarding the compliance inspections.
Great, thank you. I
Thank
know
you.
it's such an easy thing to, you know,
Yeah.
to ask someone to do, check. and-
There's, yeah, I mean, there's a lot more, you know, the state has really kind of beefed up their rules in recent years, and there's a lot of flavored tobaccos that are not allowed any longer. So just trying to get the retailers to make sure that they are selling a product that is legal in Massachusetts. And also have
About that so much, yeah.
legal in Massachusetts, and also for the taxes. Some of these products have come from out of state, so that becomes an additional concern.
Gotcha.
So I just wanted to bring to your attention.
Okay, thank you.
The next item is, we have several solid waste and recycling events that have happened. The townwide cleanup day was on the beginning of May, May the 4th, and we had some unbelievable turnout from volunteers. I am going to allow Colleen Hines is our solid waste and recycling coordinator, and our entire Board of Health was there. It was kind of a lot of representation from DDIS. We work closely with the Chamber of Commerce here in Auburn, and I'm going to say we had more volunteers than even last year. I think we had more than 150 volunteers, and Colleen has put together all the totals, what we collected.
Yes, so there was over 150 volunteers, and we had about 150 last year, so another great turnout. We collected 1.11 tons of trash.
Wow.
That was like collected throughout town. 1.9 tons of scrap metal was brought by residents and also collected throughout town. 139 tires, 41 mattresses, 200 pairs of sneakers, about 100 mercury bulbs, and an assortment of various batteries collected at the day, so.
Right? Yeah.
So we just want to thank everybody for coming out. It honestly becomes a bigger success story every year, so I'm very happy to tell you that. I'd like to thank the board members as well. And then the final item that I have for you is the nurse's report for communicable disease. And then the Assistant Health Director, Jordan Brusso, has an update.
Yeah, I just wanted to share some news for the Central Mass Mosquito Control Project. They have announced their first sprayings for the month of June. They will be on once a week for the duration of the summer. And we have already sent this off to IT to be posted onto our Board of Health webpage on the town website. So you can find that information there.
Very good. Yeah, in fact, I was just talking to one of my colleagues and saying how they've been seeing a lot of encephalitis, so I'm like, oh, hopefully not from the mosquitoes.
And I'm sorry, one more item.
Yeah.
I forgot to tell you, the most exciting flyer here.
I know, I'm stealing this one for
So we
home.
have Household Hazardous Waste Day. We do this event, a very large event, and we do it every 2 years because it takes so much to put together. Saturday, June 22nd, from 9 to 12. We actually have a new location this year. Unfortunately, we were not able to be in the typical location, so we have moved the event to DPW for the main event for household hazardous waste collection for the actual hazardous waste, and then we have a couple of satellite areas. So we'll have electronics through the Masons. We'll be here at Town Hall. We'll have propane tanks at fire headquarters on Auburn Street. And then we'll be hosting the scouts for textiles, clothing, bottles, and cans over at the library. So that will kind of allow everybody to kind of move around, and hopefully nobody gets caught in too much of a line. But this is open to Auburn residents only. We ask that people bring their IDs, and it is a free event, which is pretty amazing. I'm pretty proud to say that the town has been doing this for, I'm going to say, more than 10 years. I think it's close to 15. But at least how long I have been involved with it. So having a free event like this is great for the residents and good for the community, and hopefully keeps hazards out of the environment and protects groundwater. So just wanted to bring this to your attention. Colleen is a whiz and has this posted everywhere, and we'll continue to send out reminders. But if anybody has any questions, to give us a call at the office.
Great, thank you. I think that's it. I'll accept a motion to end tonight's meeting, which is May 20th, 2024.
I'd like to make a motion to close the meeting at 7:23 on May 20th, 2024.
All those in favor? Lindsay Guitar,
Aye.
Carolyn Griffin, aye. Good night, Auburn.
Thank you so much.